Well, this is the all-new Mahindra XUV 300 and officially takes on the likes of the Ford EcoSport, the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza, as well as the Tata Nexon. But Mahindra has jam-packed it with so many features and so much in terms of the engine power as well as the cabin that this is the car that you'll probably want to check out first if you're in the market for a compact SUV. Now, if today's review sounds very positive and very much in favor of the XUV 300, don't blame me for being a biased journalist. Blame Mahindra for making such an exceptional product. But what do you think about the looks? I think it looks really gorgeous on the outside. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. And while you're at it, also follow me on Instagram. My handle is AshishMasi1. It's flashing below your screen right now because if I have a lot of followers on Instagram, manufacturers will think that I am very powerful as an influencer and send me all these cars earlier than they do. So I'll give you more reviews much faster than we're ready to put them up. Thanks for watching. Well, so talking about the features, this car comes with a whole host of them. You get 7 airbags as standard on the top end version. You get 2 airbags standard across the range. You get a sunroof on the top end version as well. You also get a nice system here for the direction of the tires. So in case your wheels are turned like this, your steering wheel is turned like this, and you're not sure which way the car is going, the car will immediately tell you that you need to straighten out your wheels because they are turned to the left. That's a very thoughtful touch from Mahindra. You also get dual zone climate control. Yes, that's a feature which cars twice the price have to offer. So Mahindra has done a great job with some thoughtful features like that. And you also get a feature over here for the steering mode, which is of course a feature which adds more weight in the steering to make it feel a lot more sporty. As I just said, this car is loaded with features as well as technology to make you feel comfortable as well as plush inside the cabin. And talking about plushness, the overall material used are pretty good and at par with its rivals, but there are a couple of issues which could have been fixed. This button over here for the AC control could have been slightly better, and the one over here for the volume also could have been of slightly better quality, because overall the ambience is generally quite good and it does feel like a posh cabin to sit in. And the seats also are very good in terms of comfort. You get these nice side bolts, the support for lower back is very good, and in terms of utility places, it's a great car. You get this huge box over here where you can keep a whole host of stuff, including a tablet device, an iPad, or maybe a Samsung tab can easily fit in over here. A couple of beverage holders here, a nice tray over here where you can keep your wallet as well as cell phone, and of course 2 large bottle holders in the door bins. And the glove box also is of a decent shape and size, and there's place above it where you can keep your cell phone as well as your wallet. So in terms of storage places, overall quality as well as features, it is a very good place to be inside the Mahindra XUV 300. Well, so here I am in the back seat of the XUV 300, and I have adjusted the front seat for my height and my driving position, and my height for reference is 5'10". So if you're about even 6'1" or 6'2", you should be quite okay in these seats for headroom. Knee also is pretty generous, so if you are someone who prefers the back seat rather than the front, then this is the car that you'll probably enjoy quite nicely. The backrest angle is also very good. You get good under thigh support, and the hip as well as the knee angle also is pretty good, so you don't really sit hemmed in these seats. You sit nicely on top of them, and it is a nice and relaxing place to be in. What's also good is the fact that there is a completely flat floorboard over here, and the car is generally wide enough to have 3 occupants abreast, so it is a good car for those long highway trips with your entire family, and 3 people abreast shouldn't be an issue. What you'll also like is the fact that the doors open nice and wide, and the aperture for entry and exit is pretty good. Also, it's a very nicely pursed up car. The seats are nicely pursed up, so you can easily step in and out of it. There's no issue of slouching or bending around and getting into it. So it's a nice and comfortable car. Only issue is that you don't get any AC vents at the back, which is something that most buyers could complain about, especially because the Tata Nexon has this. And the other thing is that you don't get any charging points for your mobile phone, which is something that most car makers are now offering on their products. Well, so before going further, let's just say that everything is relative, and this car, remember, is a compact SUV, so the boot on this car for a compact SUV is quite okay. It is a decent shape and a decent size, but it definitely looks and feels a lot more smaller than the ones on the Nexon as well as the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza. But because of course we are talking about relative terms, it is decent in its own right. You can of course drop down the backrest of the seats here, it's a 60-40 split, so you get a decent space, and you can always remove the false floor over here to make it a nicer and easier loading boot. So you get almost a flat loading area like that. So you get almost flat loading area. There is still a bit of a lip over here. There's a bit of a ledge, so you'll have to really heave in those bags and put your back into it. So yes, maybe you can say that the boot is the only bit of disappointment on the XUV 300's interior. Well, so first things first, this XUV 300 is now the most powerful compact car in its segment, especially in the diesel version. And you get the same 1.5 litre diesel engine from the Marazzo. And the best part about this engine is that it's very quiet and very refined, especially when you're cruising out on the highway. It really does feel like a very distant murmur. There's hardly any engine noise, hardly any wind whistle coming in, and there's absolutely no tire noise. So the cabin really is a very well isolated place from all those noises, making it a very good long distance runner. Well, what also makes this car a good long distance runner is the fact that this is a 6-speed gearbox, and the addition of that 6th gear means that flexibility of this engine is greatly enhanced, because when you're doing speeds of about 100 kph on the highway, the engine is spinning at a relatively low 1800 or 1900 rpm, making the cabin a very nice and quiet place to be in. What you'll also appreciate on this car is the ride comfort, especially at highway speeds. At slow city speeds, it does feel a little unsettled sometimes, but it's quite okay. It's nothing to get complaining about, because this is quite a comfortable car in terms of the suspension setup overall. Now, in terms of the driving dynamics, the engine, the diesel engine that is, needs about 2000 rpm to get going. Before that, it is a typical diesel engine. It's a bit lazy to respond to your throttle inputs, so you need to keep it between 2 and 4000 rpm to get the best juice from it. And the gearbox is a nice and light unit. Even though the throws are a bit long, you won't complain too much, because it really is a very light gearbox to operate, so it doesn't take too much effort. It won't tire you out after a long day behind the wheel. And talking about light, what's also light is the clutch. Unlike a lot of its rivals, which have really heavy clutches, this one, the clutch really feels nice and light. The steering also is a very light unit. Now, it doesn't have too much feel in it, so it's not the ultimate car for keen drivers. The ultimate car for keen drivers still is the Ford EcoSport in this segment, but even then, it is a decent steering wheel for feedback and communication. Now, it is a very light steering wheel. In fact, it's overtly light, but if you want to add some weight, you can always choose the settings over here and change the weight, and you can see that it goes into comfort mode, or if you want it to become heavier, you can always choose the sport mode. But choosing that mode, it's just the steering which becomes heavy. It doesn't really tend to become more communicative or more direct. So, it's best to keep it in comfort settings and enjoy the relaxing and easy nature of the XUV 300. What you'll also appreciate is the excellent visibility, especially the chunky rear view mirrors that Mahindra has given this car. And what you'll also like once you're viewing them is the slightly muscled up look of the rear door. It gives you a sense of muscle about this car every time you look in your rear view mirror. So it's a nice and very thoughtful touch on the design side, and definitely adds a lot of character to the XUV 300. What will truly impress you about this engine, though, is its sheer refinement. It's a brilliant engine for refinement, and even when you're revving it very hard, when you're near its red line, it remains quiet inside the cabin. It doesn't become too buzzy. That's something that buyers who use the car on the highway will really appreciate. So if you're doing, let's say, speeds in excess of 100 kph on the highway, the engine is still at about 1800, 1900 rpm, making it a nice and quiet place to be in. Well, so if I had to give you a verdict of this car in just one line, then that one line would be that the Mahindra XUV 300 is all the compact SUV that you will truly ever need. It gets a very strong score of 91 out of 100 in my book, and it really does deserve 4.5 stars out of 5 if that's what you like. It really is a great package from Mahindra, and you should check it out at a dealership near you. And with that, we'll end this video review. But I'll just request you once again to please follow me on Instagram. My handle is AshishMasi1, and also follow the team at autoportal_India. We'll get you a lot of cool stuff on cars, the cars we test, behind the scenes, and a whole lot more over there. It's bye for now, and thanks for watching.